Batman of Arkham is an elseworld written by Alan Grant from 2000. It's essentially what if Bruce Wayne owned Arkham Asylum, or ran Arkham Asylum, was the head of it. It kind of, I would say, was probably greenlit as a hey, let's do something that's a lot like Gotham by Gaslight, which is far superior, and I think kind of shows the problem with this, which is the entire story is just an excuse to get stuff on panel that looks really cool. It's just an excuse to have early 20th century Two-Face and stuff like that. Like, it's just an excuse for that. And while that could work, it feels a lot like Spawn, where it's really forced in kind of almost pretentious ways to just get characters into something when it should just, like, if you really just want to do that, do a freaking poster or something. Don't make a comic that's just an excuse, or put more effort into it if you're going to do that. Though probably the best thing to come out of this was the layouts and the art itself, but it also did inspire a few things in Earth 1. Notably the fact that Bruce owns Arkham in that story, or that, I guess, ongoing series of graphic novels, and the idea of Croc becoming his friend is here too, or is there as well, which again, both things are done much better there, though the Arkham thing hasn't fully been fleshed out yet, because I think they're going to handle that in the third volume. But yeah, the theme of this is essentially, why do people kill? And it's really, really generic, and it feels like Alan Grant either doesn't care or doesn't understand what he's talking about. Like, it's okay to have I'm not saying Batman should kill or anything, but what I don't think it needs to be like a Watchmen level, like, exploration of the ideas that are being explored. But the problem is, it feels so just there, and like Alan Grant doesn't understand what he's even trying to say. Like even from his perspective, like he seems confused. Just overall, like, it's just an excuse to get stuff on panel. I don't get why this Batman doesn't get why this Batman's so against killing, while at the same time, it kind of ties in with his origin. Here, he and his parents were at his father's name James for some reason instead of Thomas. I don't get why they changed that, but what happened was he and his parents were at a circus, and then a sailor went crazy and stabbed them with a sword. That's it. And so now he's like, I'm gonna become Batman and be a psychologist, which it feels like a forced way to get him to become a psychologist, when you could just come up with that because Bruce is an intellectual and really interested in psychology in the comics, and studies it studied it when he was traveling around the world in the comics, so you could have just done that instead. But whatever. And also, I don't get why he has to be Batman. Like, I could buy it, like, it makes sense when it's Joe Chill, when it's just a thought, because, you know, he realizes, oh crap, you know, the city's so bad that just in average, you know, just walking through an alley with just a, you know, nice family walking through an alleyway can get gunned down. And so he has to stop that. It's all about, you know, making sure what happened to him never happens to anyone else. But what happened to him is never going to happen to anyone else. Nobody else's parents is going to be killed by a sailor with a sword in a circus. It doesn't work. And then you say, oh well, you know, maybe he hates, you know, the crazies in Gotham. But no, he's actually defensive of them. So he hates killing, which kind of just doesn't fit with this origin. It doesn't really make much sense. And then what doesn't make sense even more is why he's defensive then of the member. I don't think Bruce should be, you know, hurting inmates and whatnot like, say, Amadeus was in Serious House and Serious Earth, but this just feels so arbitrarily changed and really not thought out at all. Again, it fits with that. It's like Spawn, essentially. It's just an excuse to get stuff on, the page, just in terms of action. Another thing is, characters like Scarecrow are here, and they're just there to say why they kill, which again, why a madman killed doesn't really count as why a mentally ill person killed, or why somebody with specific psychosis kills, doesn't really explain why people in general kill and stuff like that. Like, it feels like, again, so disjointed. But the thing is, none of the villains really feel like themselves. Like, they feel like Alan Grant doesn't understand them, but they feel like the most bare-bones, generic versions of themselves, which doesn't make any sense, because he created Grant Turley-Post, who's in here, and he wrote probably the best Scarecrow story ever, Shadow of the Bat arc from Nightfall, God of Fear. But here, the characters just feel like they're kind of there. It doesn't work. Again, the layouts are just amazing, and the book looks great, and the Golden Age costume is brought back, and that's decent, but I love that costume. It all looks good, but it's not worth sacrificing so much plot stuff, and the character motivation's not making any sense, and again, it's just an excuse to get stuff on the page. Like, it's just not much of a reason at all for anything that goes on. Like, I don't get why certain characters do things. I don't get why Scarecrow does what he does. I don't get why Bruce does what he does. Stuff just happens for the sake of the plot, or for the sake of the art. And it's not how you should write a story, and it's really sad, because Alan Grant has, been such a great writer prior to this.